Hey guys, it's Denny.
And this is James from TDB, and welcome to the Licking Your Grandmother's Basement episode of TDB. We previewed it last week for you guys, and now we're here to bring you the real deal. So get your tongues ready.
This is a 1960s raw Pu'erh. Do you know the exact year?
I do not. So this tea was actually also acquired from Taiwan.
Right.
And one of the things I did while I was out there is I had the opportunity, the privilege to meet a bunch of tea folks in the Gong Fu Cha Facebook group. So shout out to those folks, Nikki Evers, Neil Swanson, and Nick Waters. We were there at Wistaria, and we had some leftovers, and so they decided to generously donate it to the show, give Denny a chance to try it, and we can drink it on camera. So here's some 1960s raw Pu'erh from your grandma's house.
Yeah. Yeah. Picked out of the carpet from your grandma's basement.
Yeah. And so how's this tea smell? How's it smell in this little tin?
Actually, so the aroma out of the tin was not super strong, but just pouring it in the
Ooh, I can smell it
yeah,
here.
exactly. Pouring it in the cup. James was talking, doing the intro, and I'm sitting here just like a hound dog smelling. So, yeah, I was getting just kind of like a leafy vibe, but there's definitely that sort of. This actually has the more of the cherry ripe Pu'erh flavor going on. I think just because it's so freaking old. You can see already just from the liqueur, it's looking more like a ripe. I think we were just chatting earlier about this before the episode. I don't even think they had ripe Pu'erh back then. So
they did not.
So so this is truly what's going to happen to your tea as it gets real old.
Especially if you store it in Taiwan in high heat and humidity.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact background of this tea, nor do I know that much about it. It's not like the most amazing aged tea you'll ever have. You can order this straight off the menu at Wistaria. But it is, I believe, legitimately old, and so it's cool to be able to drink these teas.
I'm gonna say
it's even hard to describe this, but I think it's not like dirty. I think this tea has probably been nicely aired out for consumption.
Right.
So I would say that. So this is the second rinse, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
It actually looked pretty clear, but something this old.
This tea has a lot to give, and so part of the reason why we're doing the rinses too is just to get to the contents of the tea a little bit faster, because this tea is old. It's going to go for a while, so we throw out the first two rinses, no big deal.
Yep. But it's got actually in the cup a really good aroma. So we're using is this 70?
Yeah, 70 milliliters,
and about a little bit over 4 grams of leaf. It's filling out the cup really nicely. The guy one.
And the leaves have an interesting textural feel to it. They feel kind of brittle. They tend to be a little bit bigger leaves, bigger to medium, I think.
Good amount of stems in there, which makes sense. So.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, viscosity-wise, really light so far, even on the third sort of soaking, but has a lot of the hints of those actually kind of ripe flavors. I'm kind of getting that leftover graphene pencil shaving vibe a little bit. I know it's overused, I apologize guys, but
only overused by you.
I know, but it's true, and the leafiness for sure. But then afterwards, I've only had one sip. Afterwards, I'm still getting a little bit of a sweet, a little sweet finish. So.
Yeah, it's still pretty light, I would say. I guess the predominant tones I get are sort of like those Chinese medicine herbal shop ginseng-y sort of flavors. Same out of the nose as well.
Yep.
Tends to be sort of sweeter in those. It's certainly not bitter or sour or anything like that.
Totally, yeah. This is not vegetal. It's not fruity. It's not roasted.
Relatively clean so far.
Yeah. And actually, the strength of the flavor lasting in my mouth is actually pretty strong. I'm kind of surprised by that. So, and color-wise, nice and red.
Yeah, really nice clarity on that liqueur.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's really thickened up. I'm getting a lot of the age midway through now. And that medicinal, I don't know what you would call it, flavor. It just is. It's showing up a lot stronger now.
Yeah, it has actually a very interesting finish. I don't know. I have a hard time describing teas like this, to be honest. You definitely get ginseng and a lot of those flavors, and it makes you feel very warm. I think in general this would not be a cooling tea. It probably wouldn't be a very appropriate summer tea, but very soft, very smooth.
I agree. Yeah, I'm getting kind of pile of leaves vibe out of this, and not in a bad way at all. But that sort of dried plants, earthiness kind of vibe going on. But it's not vegetal. It's not sour. It's not particularly salty. It has a little bit of a minerally vibe to it.
Yeah.
But not like a wooey would.
Yeah. Creamy? I would say the wooey from last episode was almost creamier.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't put this. I wouldn't call it creamy. I'm kind of having a hard time placing this tea as well. Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Even more red.
And now, I'd say the aftertaste for me is not really going down the throat. It's mainly focused on the mouth. A lot of sweet flavors sort of lingering there.
Mm-hmm.
Feel a lot of the warmth in my cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Tip of my tongue. Clarity-wise is actually great. It's pouring really well. There's not a lot of sediment coming through the actual tea either. And this is from the end of a session where there would be a lot of just small pieces and sediment, so that's great.
Yeah.
Getting the tea burps a little bit. Excuse me, one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And sort of in contrast to the previous tea, do you think this would be a tea that would be friendly towards someone that has never had tea before?
No. Not at all. This is complex. This doesn't taste like anything that people would consider to be tea. I think they would drink this and be like, what is this? And then you'd be like, tea. And they'd be like, what kind? And they have no idea that it's all tea.
Oh, it's the oolong jasmine kind.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe a quarter of the way through the sort of flow of the flavors, I think there's a little bit in that medicinal kind of vibe, a little bit of something kind of menthol-y. It's not cooling though, but there's sort of that herbal
Camphorous?
Yeah, like the stick part of rosemary, not the actual green leaves, but like that sort of barky herbal vibe.
Smell that. That is so sweet smelling in a very unique way that you really only get through.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it smells so sweet.
It really does. Maybe not quite plummy, but those darker stone fruit flavors.
And the leaves themselves look to be very dark. So at some point this tea encountered its fair deal of humidity and was probably quite wet at some point.
Yeah,
and that's generally just how Pu'erh was stored for a while. But at this point, the tea tastes very clean. It's dried out. It doesn't taste dirty. I'm not like, oh, I don't know about this tea.
Yeah.
It tastes fine to me as far as that goes.
I think the age has probably done well by this tea. I bet it probably wasn't the best tasting tea to start, although it's really hard to say with something this old. The other thing, too, about this is that it just has like a nice, clean flavor profile to it. And I don't know. I'm enjoying this a lot. It is harder to place. One thing that's nice about this tea, though, is that I'm finding that I think it seems like this would kind of be harder to overbrew.
I totally agree. I think it'll just get darker. It'd be very hard to make it bitter or astringent. You have to definitely do the fill the pot and forget about it for a long time approach to do that.
So we'll do that right now. We'll give it a lot longer. And we just heated up the water as well. So.
Yep. And those of you that are not familiar with Wistaria Tea House, it's a famous tea house in Taiwan. So when they say something is from a certain time period, I tend to generally trust it.
Right.
So you can go there if you're in Taiwan or Taipei, and you can order tea off the menu. And so you order by person. So this tea would be about $9 or $10 just to order, and then you would have enough to split amongst your group.
Right.
So you would order that, and you order whatever cheese you wanted. So that's kind of how the format works.
This is great. This is actually evolving to a little bit of a sweeter flavor, and I think that those drier, leafier flavors are dissipating a little bit. Maybe matching up a little bit closer to the aroma that James was just commenting on how strong it was. So this is actually a tea that requires a lot of attention. I wouldn't say this is a particularly friendly tea for someone who's new to Pu'erh. I think definitely feeling the energy.
Yeah, and I think pushing it was a good choice.
Right.
In some sense, this tea would definitely go on much longer than the Wooey from the previous episode.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. So that was probably 30 or 45 seconds, and we're not going to see a huge change in the color.
Yeah. But
we're hoping to get maybe a little bit of a change in the evolution of the flavor profile. So, although it's still brewing up really nice and dark, yeah. This is interesting. I can't imagine pairing this with anything. I think it would be a very good standalone tea that you might drink with a tea buddy as something a little bit different to try that you don't even necessarily need to love. These are kind of one of these teas that I like because it's just so much outside of what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And that in itself I think is a virtue. So having something like this in your tea closet might be a great addition.
Tea closet. Not all of us are in the closet, Denny. At least not the tea closet.
Let's get out of the closet, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring your guy ones out.
Cheers.
Come on, guys.
Cheers to coming out of the tea closet. Yeah. Tell you people you know. Tell your loved ones.
Tell y'all.
Salute. Cheers. It just feels deeper.
Yeah, I think pushing it in general just brings out a nice, fuller taste. It could be a little bit watery and a little bit thin at the lighter ratios.
Yeah, I think actually this tea could have standed for even 5 grams per 70. 5 or 5.5, even 6. So, for you folks out there who are into Pu'erh, you Pooh heads out there, check us out on teadb.org, teadb.org. We have a bajillion, James has written a bajillion articles about his Pu'erh obsession. He is a Pooh head for sure. I am only an amateur Pooh head. Hashtag Pooh head. Check us out on there. Comment. Tell us a little bit about your favorite aged Pu'erhs, if you guys have had stuff from the 60s, what it's like.
Or the 70s, 80s,
or the 70s or 80s. But, those older flavors end up being a little bit different in category bending. So we'd love to hear your feedback about those. Check us out on our website, teadb.org. I am feeling the tea.
Hit that subscribe button down below, and we will see you guys next time.
Cheers.